And now it's time for a Q&A from you, the viewers. And our first question comes in from Rick Hello via the Facebook group. Hello, Rick. He's curious about the MacBook Pro that I use for my editing and other things. I bought this right when it came out about 2 years ago now. And he's curious what the long-term review of it is, because I usually review things and we never kind of revisit them again unless there's something drastically wrong with them. And you might recall there was something drastically wrong with this particular device, because when I bought it and installed Windows via Boot Camp on it, because I do like to run Windows from time to time on my Macs, there was a driver issue from Apple that physically blew out the speaker. So my first purchase of this computer was replaced by the one I have now. They basically did a swap out thing for me to give me a new working computer. So that was the first problem I ran into with it. The second issue I've had with this particular computer is that I had to get the Thunderbolt ports replaced on it. All 4 of them essentially failed, and that things got so loose, if I would just nudge the computer a little bit, it would disconnect my drives. They fixed that under warranty. It took about a week or so. They sent back the same computer I had, but it looked a lot cleaner. It's kind of a mess right now. So that was another issue that I had with it. But I haven't had any real problems since then, except for, of course, the keyboard on it. The keyboard on these MacBooks is a mess. It's a mess on this one. It is a mess on my little 12-inch MacBook. My wife has a MacBook Pro, a 13-inch that I got her about a year or two ago. That keyboard is a mess too. We're going to be one at a time taking advantage of Apple's keyboard replacement program that's out there. If you've got one of these devices, and this goes all the way back to 2015, I would suggest you take advantage of this, because they will fix them even if they're out of warranty, because they've identified that these keyboards are just terrible. And no matter how many Macs I've encountered with this keyboard, I have yet to see one that actually works correctly. The jury's still out on whether or not the changes that they made will make any real difference here, but I would have preferred to have a slightly thicker MacBook with the old keyboard over what they gave me here, because this keyboard has been a disaster. This stays up in my kitchen. It gets a lot of dust and crumbs and stuff on it sometimes, and it was never a problem on the old one, but this one it can't deal with any bit of dirt. Even a grain of sand that gets under that key is going to mess it up. And sometimes the keys will unfreeze, but on mine here, my space bar is kind of messed up. My wife's arrow keys are completely useless, and we're going to be swapping these things out one at a time. He also asked about the touch bar. I rarely use it. It's up here right now on Keynote, so it does deliver some kind of gee whiz neat features, but generally I don't use it. I don't like having a touch panel for my escape key also, which is kind of annoying, so I really would have preferred just a standard set of keys up here. The touch bar really doesn't provide any value to me at all. It's kind of a gimmick, and if it would have resulted in a less expensive MacBook, I would have opted for the one without the touch bar. It's kind of a pointless exercise here. And Rick also asked about the trackpad itself, and that's one thing I really like about Apple products, is that they have nailed the touchpad and have really figured out what is a true key press versus what might just be a wrist resting on it. I have rarely had any problems with this huge trackpad here, accidentally picking something up that I did not intend to do. We see the same good behavior on iPads as well, and Apple, I think, is really the best at this capacitive touch technology. They really know what you're looking to do, and rarely do I get an errant click or anything like that. They did a very nice job with that. He also wants to know about thermal throttling. I don't see too much with this. I know there were some issues with the new MacBook Pros with the i9 processor. I'm sure I'm throttling at some point or another if I'm really whacking it with some video editing or whatever, but generally I'm not gaming on this thing, and my videos are relatively short, so I haven't seen anything where thermal issues become a problem on the device here. It seems to be functioning fairly well. It's running, to me at least, as well as it did about 2.5 years ago when I bought it. And the only reason why I bought it was that I was starting to get some 4K video ingested into my workflow, and it was killing my old 2012 MacBook Pro. I would have probably still been using that one today if it was not for the 4K video editing problem. This one does it just fine, and for my purposes, the laptop here is more than adequate for that. I really like these USB-C Thunderbolt ports. It's nice to have a laptop with 4 full-blown Thunderbolt ports on it, and despite the fact that you do have to have dongles a lot of the time, it really is a flexible thing to just have ports that can be anything. So if I want to flip the laptop around and plug power back in, I can just pop it into another one of the ports on here. That works fine. Upstairs in my secondary office that I'm setting up, I'd like to get a little change of pace every once in a while. I've got a Thunderbolt 3 dock up there, and I just plug in a single cable. It delivers power to the laptop here, and the monitor comes up, and everything just starts working without any problems at all. I've been really pleased with Thunderbolt in general, and very much pleased with the fact that this computer has so many useful ports on it. And I did find a lot of USB-C cables that mitigated the need to have an additional dongle. So I've got a bunch of cables that convert USB 3 to USB-C, for example. So external hard drives and all that kind of stuff just seems to be a non-issue for me. And that, to me, has been a big plus for me, is having the port flexibility on this device, especially given that this particular laptop is traveled with. It is brought all over the house. When I've got a remote shoot, if I do something like that, it comes with me for that. So having that port flexibility has been really good on here. And whenever you need more ports, you can just bring a dock along with you, and you're good to go with more.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Chris Allegretta, the 4 Guys with Quarters podcast, Tom Albrecht, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.